In this very first section, I'm going to start off by taking you to squarespace.com, and then we're going to move on to the Squarespace design platform so I can show you how to use it. And then after that, I'm going to show you the 3 settings that I always adjust before I do anything else with a new website. So to start making the website, the very first thing we need to do is to open up a new browser window, obviously. Now, just a quick note about browsers. I personally like to use Google Chrome, and you can, of course, use other browsers as well, like Firefox or Safari or Microsoft Edge, but there is one browser that I don't recommend using, and that is Internet Explorer. And the reason for this is because it's known to have a lot of technical issues, but not only that, it's recently been replaced by Microsoft Edge, so it's also going to be outdated. So if you do happen to be using Internet Explorer, I do recommend using one of those other browsers that I just mentioned. And now I'm going to go ahead and type in squarespace.com. And that's going to take us to Squarespace's homepage. Now, when you come to Squarespace's homepage, you may not be seeing the exact same thing that I'm seeing right now because they do change up their homepage from time to time. So even if when you come here, you're not seeing the exact same thing, just know that the product on here and the content is going to be the same. Now, I'm just going to take you through a quick tour of the homepage and what's on here right now. So at the very top, there's a slideshow showing us different people who are using Squarespace, and I can click through it. And I can also watch a short video right here if I click on this. And if I go down, I can read up some more about Squarespace and the platform. So if I click on where it says learn more, this section is going to expand and I can read more information about Squarespace. So I'm not going to be reading through each of these just in the interest of time, but when you come here, I do recommend reading as much information as possible. Now, just going down, there's going to be a few other sections. And at the very bottom, there's going to be a large menu, and this is where you can access things like Squarespace's blog page and their social media, and you can also read up some more about the company. But I want to get started and show you how to build the website and how this whole platform works. So I'm going to go back to the top, and then I'm going to click on where it says Get Started. And there's a button up here, and then there's also a button down here. It doesn't matter which one you click on. And once you click on them, they're both going to take us to the same place, which is the templates page. Now, in case they do change up the homepage and they don't have those exact same buttons anymore, where you want to end up is squarespace.com/templates. So in case they do change up their menu, this is where you want to come to. Now, Squarespace is a template-based web builder, and that means that you choose one of these templates and then you upload your content to it. So you upload your pictures and all of your copy onto one of these templates. And the great thing about Squarespace templates is that all of the templates are very easily customizable. So you can change things like the colors, the background images, the font styles, and you have a lot of control over how your website is styled. Now, I'm going to just keep scrolling down so you can see just how many templates they have. And last time I counted, I think they had somewhere between 60 or 70 templates. So they do have a lot of templates. Now, if I go back up, I'm going to click on this Bedford template right here so I can show you what the template pages look like. So this is the Bedford template page, and each template has its own page that shows you more information on it. And first of all, I can see what this template would look like on a desktop, but if I click down here, I can also see what it would look like on a tablet and a phone. And if I scroll down this page a little bit, I can see some examples of what other people have built using this same template. So all of these websites down here were built using the same Bedford template. And as you can see, they are all slightly different, and this is because you do have control over how they're styled and customized. If I go back up, now I'm going to go back into desktop mode, and then I'm going to click on the website, and that's going to give me a larger preview of the Bedford template. And all of the templates come preloaded with placeholder content. So all of these pictures on here and all of this text, this is all placeholder content so that you can see what this template would look like with actual content on it. And all of the templates generally have a few pages built out so that you can see what various pages on this template would look like, and you can click through them just to kind of explore the template some more. Now I'm going to click out of this and go back to the main template page. And there's a few other things I want to point out. So first of all, on the left-hand side here, we have this little filtering system because there are so many templates. So this helps you filter down the templates depending on what you're trying to build. So for example, let's say you are looking to build an online store. You could click on Online Store, and that's going to filter down the templates and then show you the templates that are best suited for online stores. And if you were going to build a photography website, you could click on Photography, and that would narrow down the templates and show you the ones that are best suited to photography websites. And there's another really important thing that I want to mention before I continue, and that is that whenever you make a new Squarespace website, Squarespace is going to give you a 2-week free trial. So when we start building our website, you're not going to have to pay anything up front, but once that 2 weeks is up, you are going to have to start paying to continue using the platform. So let me just show you really quickly what the Squarespace plans look like. So I'm going to go to squarespace.com/pricing, and that's going to show us their pricing breakdown. So Squarespace plans start at $12 a month, and considering everything that's included, the hosting is included, the design platform is included, everything is mobile optimized. You can even get a free domain if you want to. So considering all of that, I think it's excellent value, and it's also an excellent product. And I will, of course, show you how to register for a plan and how to get your website live when it's done. But I just want you to know that once the 2-week trial is up, you are going to have to register for your own Squarespace plan. Now let's go back again, and I'm going to go back to All Designs, and I'm just going to click into the Bedford template again. And I think it's time to start showing you how to use the platform. Now, even if I start with the Bedford template and I decide later on that I want to go with another template instead, that's a really easy switch, and you can switch templates as many times as you want to. And for those of you who are following along with your own computer right now, I do recommend that you also start with the Bedford template because it's just going to be a lot easier to follow everything that I do at the beginning. But I do want you to know that switching the templates is going to be really easy, and I, of course, will show you how to do that later on. And now I'm going to go ahead and click on Start with Bedford. And then they're going to ask you to enter your name, email, and password. So go ahead and do that. Since I already have an existing account, I'm just going to click on this login button at the bottom. And once I log in, it will take us to the exact same place. And here we are at the welcome screen. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Start. And next up, there's a few questions for us. And you can actually skip through all of these if you click on this skip button at the bottom. And none of these answers that you enter, by the way, are going to show up anywhere on your website. All of this is just for internal statistics for Squarespace so that they can see what types of websites people are building and what types of industries they're in and so on. And since there's just a few, I am going to go through these with you. And the first question is, what is this website about? And I can select more than one. And then the next question is, what are your goals for this website? And again, you can select as many as you want to. And next is site content. And since this is going to be a personal site for me, I'm just going to select personal. And next up, we have where we need to enter our site title. So don't skip this one. And I'm going to go ahead and enter the design shop as my site title. Now, even if you enter a title right here and you decide later that you want to change it, we can easily change it. And I'm going to hit done. And here we are on the Squarespace web building platform. So let me give you a quick tour of this platform. So first of all, this whole area, this big area, this is called the live preview. And if I click right into this content, so if I click edit right here, I can go straight into my content and edit directly on my live page. So there are a lot of other web builders out there where you have to have one window open and you make all the changes on that window, and then you have to refresh and then go to another window and then refresh that one, and then you look at the changes on that, and then you have to go back and forth, and it's this really tedious and frustrating process. But with Squarespace, it's not like that because you can see all of the changes you're making as you're making them. So this is an excellent platform. I think it's so easy to use, and we will of course be using this a lot more in the following sections when we're building out the pages. And the next thing I want to point out is over here on the left-hand side, we have what's called the main menu. And I'm going to be going through each of these sections a lot more later on in the tutorial, so I'm not going to go into too much detail just yet, but I do want to quickly show you what each of these are. So the very first one is pages. And this is where all of the pages that make up your website are going to be located. And like I mentioned earlier, all of the Squarespace websites come preloaded with placeholder content. So as you can see, these are all demo pages right now, but this is where we're going to be adding all of your pages, and we'll start doing that in the following section after this. But let's go back. And next we have design. And this is where you can add things like your logo and title. And you can also switch your template here. And there's also this really cool thing called the style editor. And this is where you can style your website and change the colors and the font styles. And you can also do some cool things like, for example, if I unselect this, I can make the banner transparent or not transparent. So there's a lot of different things that we can do here, but I, of course, will be back here in chapter 3. So let's go back again. And the next one we have is commerce. Now, I'm unfortunately not going to be going over commerce at all in this tutorial because this would take up a whole separate tutorial. But if you do decide that you want to add a store or products to your website, you can do it from this commerce section. And next we have analytics. And all Squarespace websites come with the built-in analytics tool. And since this website hasn't been live yet at all, none of this information will be populated, but I will show you how to track all of your traffic and how to use all of the information that shows up here. So let's go back again. And next we have settings. So this is where all of the settings for your website are going to be located. And I'm going to go through all of these in chapter 4. And finally, we have help. Now, if I click on this, this is going to take us to the Squarespace help page. So if while you're building your website, you have any questions or you have any problems, you can click on that help button at the bottom, and that'll take you to the Squarespace help page. And then what you do is you type in whatever problem you're having. So I'm just going to type something completely random in here. So once you type in your problem or your question, there's going to be a bunch of different articles that you can read through. And there's going to be pages and pages of information that you can look through. And typically I can find whatever information I'm looking for in one of these articles. But if for whatever reason you can't find what you're looking for, you can come down to the bottom and you can click on where it says contact us. And then we just have to enter a little bit more information. So I'm just gonna enter this, and then if I go down, we have the option to either email or live chat with the support team. So emailing is an excellent way to get in touch with the support team. They do emails 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they are very responsive, and I've had nothing but excellent experiences with the support team. And you can also live chat. Now, the only thing about live chat is that it's only open from Monday through Friday from 3 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time, and there typically will be a little bit of a wait to talk to the support team, but they are still, of course, very helpful. Now, there's one thing that Squarespace support cannot help you with, and that is with custom code. So if you decide that you want to add some custom CSS or something to your website, that's the one thing that they cannot help you with, but with anything else, they will be able to help. Now, I'm going to click out of this. Now, continuing with this tour of the platform, now I'm going to go down to this little name and logo. This is where your name is probably going to be showing up, and mine says TDC, and this stands for the Design Shop. And this is where you can add a profile picture for yourself, and I've already added the Design Shop logo right here. Now, if I click on this, this is going to take me to my profile page, and this is where all of the websites that you're currently working on are going to show up. Now, don't really pay attention to this. Mine is kind of a big mess right now because I'm experimenting with a lot of different websites for this tutorial, but for most of you, you're just probably going to have one website showing up right here. But if you do decide later to add more Squarespace websites, this is where all of your websites will be located. And another thing is that if I go to this drop down right here, this is where I can edit my profile. And while I'm on here, I do want to show you one other very important thing that I tend to forget to show people how to do, and that is how to re-access your Squarespace website. So let's say if you're done working with your Squarespace site for the day and you click out of it, let me just click out of this to show you. So once I click out, now I'm going to open up a new browser window, and then I'm just going to type in Squarespace and go to the login button at the top. And since I haven't logged out of my account, it's going to just take me straight back to my profile page. And then I would just click into my website, and that would take me straight back to my website. Now, if I log out, let me just quickly log out to show you. And then I'm going to go back to squarespace.com. So if you log out, they're just going to ask for your login credentials. But once you enter those, you're going to come back to your profile page. And then you can access your website again just by clicking on it. And there are a couple of even quicker ways to access your website, and that is, of course, to bookmark it. So excluding this config part, you can, of course, always bookmark this temporary URL for even faster access. And moving on, next I'm going to go down to the bottom of this window, and there's going to be this little thing that says you have 183 days remaining on your trial. And for most of you, it's going to say you have either 2 weeks remaining or 14 days remaining. And this is basically just a countdown and reminder of how many more days you have left on your free trial. So I typically click out of this, but you can, of course, by all means, leave this down here because it can be a helpful reminder of how many more days you have left on your trial. But I'm going to click out of this. And next up, if I go to the top of this window, now there's going to be this long line, and if I hover over this little thing right here, it's going to turn into an arrow, and if I click on that, I can preview what this website would look like on a tablet, and I can click right in here, and I can go to all the pages and everything, and I can also see what it looks like on a phone. And another thing I want to show you is over here there's a little arrow. Now if I click on this, this is going to take it full screen, and if I click on it again, it's going to take us back. And I'm going to go full screen one more time to just show you another thing, and I'm just going to go down to the corner of this window, and I'm going to make this window smaller. And as you can see, as I change the size of this window, the image and the text and everything that's on this page is adjusting as well. And this is called responsive design, and all Squarespace websites are automatically going to be responsive. And this is a really important feature for websites to have these days because people don't only visit websites from desktops or laptops, people also visit websites from tablets and phones, and no matter what type of device your visitor is coming to your website from, you want them to have an equally good experience. So this is called responsive design, and like I said, all Squarespace websites are responsive, so I just wanted to point out that really cool feature to you. And finally, I'm going to show you the 3 very important settings that I always adjust before I do anything else with the website. So let's go back. And the very first one is I'm going to go into settings, and then I'm going to click on basic information, and all I'm going to do is paste in my site description. And hopefully all of you already have your site description written up, and I already have one written up as well. So all I'm going to do is copy and paste this site description right in there. And then down here, there's this little area called Allow Squarespace Promotion. And by checking this off, this simply gives Squarespace permission to potentially use your website as an example website. So if you're okay with that, you can keep this checked, but if not, you can uncheck it. It's totally up to you. And then up here at the top, there's a site type area, and this isn't going to make any difference to your website. This again is just for Squarespace's internal statistics, so you can set it to one of these, but it's not going to make any difference to your website. And I'm going to save and go back. And the next thing that I always do is I connect my social media accounts. So I'm going to click on connected accounts, and I'm going to connect my Facebook and my Instagram right now. So if you have social media accounts you want connected to your website, this is the best time to add them. And the easiest way to connect them is to already be logged into them. So I'm already logged into my Facebook account on this browser, and I'm already also logged into my Instagram on this browser in a separate window. So all I'm going to do is click on Connect Account. And first I'm going to connect my Facebook. So I'm going to click on Facebook. And since I was already signed in, it was just a very quick and automatic connection. I didn't even have to do anything. And I just want to make sure that it's pushed to the correct account. And next I'm going to do the same thing with my Instagram account. So next I'm going to look for Instagram, and it's automatically going to connect since I'm already signed in. All right, and let's go back again. So that was the second thing that I always do. And the third thing that I always do is under websites again, I'm going to go down to Advanced, and then I'm going to click on Image Metadata Importing. And I want to make sure that this Enable Image Metadata Importing is checked off. So what this does is when we start uploading your pictures to this website, this will ensure that any metadata that you might have added to your pictures uploads with the pictures. So if you've added anything like meta descriptions or copyright information, we want to make sure that all of that comes with the pictures as well. So just make sure that this Enable Image Metadata Importing is checked off, so that when we upload your pictures, the pictures upload with all of that metadata that you might have added to them. So I'm going to save and go back. Now in review, the three things that I do before I start doing anything else with the website are: first, I add the site description, and then I connect my social media accounts. And the third thing is I make sure that the image metadata importing is enabled. So that's all for this section. In the next section, I'm going to show you how to start adding pages to your website.